Oh, good morning and welcome to Comics for Breakfast. I'm just having a few Reese cups here, don't mind me. You know, when it comes right down to it, it's really the perfect food. You got your chocolate, your peanut butter, and an efficient, sort of aerodynamic cup style delivery system. I mean, I think in the future we'll all be eating these. But let me set this aside for the moment. I know there's no microphone. I still don't have a microphone. It's a funny story. Do you really want to hear the funny story? I ordered a microphone off of a internet service. It starts with an A, it ends with an N, and there's a bunch of stuff in the middle of it. Most of it involves guys kicking packages into the back of trucks. And a week went by, and my package never got kicked my way, ultimately. And so I went to a few local establishments. I went to the Guitar Center. I went to Best Buy. No one had a microphone, so I was forced to go elsewhere. I was told it was coming Monday. I swear to God, this will be the last time you have to deal with this. I hope it's the last time you have to deal with this. Honestly, I'm not sure my liver can take it, but this is Having a Drink for Breakfast episode 2, and this one is 26 comics that I'm thankful for. And on this special episode, I'm joined with the official Old Guys Who Like Old Comics for Breakfast mascot. We have Captain OG. How you doing, Captain? Oh, it's really hot up here. It sure is. I'll bet it is. I'll bet it is. Well, all right. Well, that's a horrible sound to make with my mouth, isn't it? Oh, yeah, it is. Alright, well, let's get right to it. We're going to start off with All Your Comics, number 1. All Your Comics? Actually, these are all Fox Features comics. Now, this book is from 1946. This was something that I purchased from a friend when he was selling his collection. Ordinarily, a Golden Age book like this would go for a little bit more, but, well, there's a noticeable flaw. All Your Comics number 1 features stories from Red Robin's, Merciless, the Sorceress, and of course my favorite, Camp 4, the Skunk. So what can I say? This is truly a book that I am thankful to have in my collection. Next up, this is actually the book that motivated this particular video. Long-time Old Guys Who Like Old Comics member Charles Vare sent me this copy of Batman number 255, and this is a 100-pager. That's right, it's a super spectacular. Not only does it feature this new Batman shocker, the Moon of the Wolf, but stunning reprints like Robin Battles the Crazy Quilt, Batgirl's Big Surprise, Alfred the Detective, and Batman's Father, a story that I first discovered in one of those tiny little, what do you call them, digest editions. But it's fantastic to be able to have this particular book. Thank you, Charles, so much for sending this my way. I love receiving comic books, and hopefully we'll look at this in a future Comics for Breakfast. Speaking of wonderful gifts, this is another gift that was provided to me from my brother, Dennis Miller. Now, I had talked about Batman's The Cult in the past. It was one of my favorite mini-series, written by Jim Starlin, illustrated by Bernie Wrightson. My copy was in a trade paperback. It It was actually one of the first edition trade paperbacks, and it didn't have very good glue. Subsequently, the damn thing fell apart. I did my best to keep it together, but there's nothing like having all 4 issues of a comic book that you love under one set of covers, and Batman the Cult, truly a book that I am thankful to have in my collection. So thank you very much, Dennis. Next up, we have a book that I had actually traded for. There was a fella who was really into old Universal Monsters stuff. I had a Paint by Numbers Dracula, and I had traded him for a few things. This comic book, numbered among those things, you'll notice there's a little bit of rodental mastication here, but otherwise, this is a beautiful Golden Age book. Crime Does Not Pay, and we're right on the border of the crime and horror genres. So this book has some pretty cool transitional stories, and once again, I'll try and take a look at this in a future comic for breakfast. You know, if we can compensate for the missing lower corner. Next up, hey, we have an adaptation of Richard Sapir and William Murphy's The Destroyer novels. Now, my good buddy Owen had hooked me up with the Destroyer novels back when I was just a kid in high school. I grew up on these books myself, my friend Owen, Dave Edwards. We loved these books, and it was very cool when Marvel did this adaptation. They adapted 4 separate books in a little mini-series, and these have covers by Walt Simonson. Speaking of remembering those good times, I have a buddy, and he's in the shit right now, currently, but the last time I saw him, he hooked me up with this book. Dope and Dan. I'm not actually super familiar with this property, but this is a first printing from Last Gasp. This is from 1973, and I was thrilled to get a copy of it. It looks like it's a cool book, and I certainly appreciated the sentiment. As far as it goes, Darren, my brother, this is for you. If you're out there, please raise a glass to a good friend and wish him nothing but the best, because, well, that's what we do here, isn't it? It's all about the positivity. Well, and the drinking. At any rate, what's next? Oh, we have Dream of Love. Now, this, if I'm not mistaken, is an IDW Enterprises book, and this not only reprints a story, Dr. Anthony King, Hollywood psychiatrist, featuring artwork by the one and only, the beloved by the old guys who like old comics group, Myron Fass. But we also have 2 absolutely tits-up stories by Jerry Siegel and Alex Schomburg and Jean Juan. Next up, speaking of for me and for you and for us, well, it's Dan Klaus 8-Ball. Now, once again, I had spoken about friends who are no longer with us. My buddy Owen Halterline was a huge Daniel Klaus fan, and this is actually one of his copies of 8-Ball. I don't have a whole lot of comic books from my old collection, but this is one of them, and I'm really happy to have it. It features the sensual Santa. If you've never experienced this, well, I'm going to shut up and let you look at it for a moment. Here's a book that I found at Bug-Eyed Monster's closing sale. Bug-Eyed Monster was a comic book store in Wilkinsburg, and when they went out of business, well, that was the first time I'd even known they'd existed. They were always on the periphery, but I found out about it too late to be able to support them, but I was able to show up, and I purchased a big old pile of books from their going out of business sale, including this wonderful Tom Sutton vampire cover. Now this one, well, it hits me where I live. Hopefully there's not a glare. Is there a glare on this Larry? Next up, oh yeah, ladies and gentlemen. Now I can't say enough about Hot Rod Comics, simply because I've never said enough about Hot Rod Comics. Whoever thought about Hot Rod Comics? Whoever gave a hot crap about Hot Rod Comics? Not me. But I actually talked about this book in the past, and it's a lot of fun. It has some truly iconic moments in it. It's truly a base worth hitting as far as it goes. Hot Rod Comics, give them a chance. You could do worse. You've done worse. You've done worse. I know you've done worse. I know what you've bought in the past with your money, with your dirty money. Next up, now this book I am truly thankful to have in my collection. It's Harold Head. It features art and stories by Rand Holmes. Now this book, it's phenomenal. Rand Holmes was a sensational artist. I can't say enough about his particular work. If you've never explored Rand Holmes, look into it. He didn't do a whole lot. He worked within a very limited window, but what he did provide was truly profound and influential, and I am truly thankful to have this book, Harold Head #2, in my collection. We'll certainly be looking at this in a future Comics for Breakfast in a censored form, at any rate. Trust me, there's some stuff in this book you don't want to see. Or maybe you do, but there are other websites for that. This is a desert island book, as far as I'm concerned. The inside contents, it's the cover that I'm all about. You know, when it comes right down to it, a picture truly does say 1,000 words, and Bob Oxner was a master. Absolutely. So, feast your eyes upon this magnificent book. I'd like to thank Mike Jones for providing me with this wonderful copy of Heartthrobs #132, because, well, I'd always wanted it. Next up, what do we got here? Oh, it's a copy of Jack and Jill. It's a Curtis magazine. Now, there's really not much to say as far as it goes about the interiors. I've never even looked through this book. I've looked through it. It's nothing. It's nothing to be concerned about. But the cover is sublime. And what's next? Well, we have Marvel Team Up #13, and that's Spider-Man and Captain America. And that was Marvel Comics Peanut Butter and Jelly as far as young me was concerned. I love these two characters together. There was nothing quite like taking my Mego Spider-Man and Captain America and teaming them up on some fantastic adventure. And with a book like this featuring art by the legendary Gil Kane, you couldn't go wrong. Next up we have Roaring Rick Vetich's Rare Bit Fiends #1, and this comic is all about dreams. It's based upon dream symbology, and it's basically a stream of consciousness exploration. Next up, here's a book that I am truly pleased to have in my Old Guys Who Like Old Comics archive collection. Well, we have Lone Ranger's famous horse, Hi-Yo Silver. And I have to admit, when I picked up a few of these books, I was disappointed to learn that Silver, well, he occupies a secondary role in most of these stories, but the wonderful thing about these covers is he's the feature character, and that's what's really compelling. I love the idea of some young boy or girl going to the newsstand and looking at all the different comics and seeing this particular book, seeing this horse fighting his way towards the shoreline. He's got a little bear on his back. Come on, y'all. Next up, what do we have here? It's a copy of Spaceman. It's another Dell comic, and I bought this book simply because of the cover. I'm thankful for the cover because, gosh, I can look at this and it sends me places. Oh, what's next? Oh, yes, that's right. This is a book that I am truly thankful to have in my collection. Now, this is a copy of Sparkler Comics number 52, and as you can see, well, it's a little screwed up. I had seen this a few weeks back, and I had to pass on it. It was $12.50. That was a little too rich for my blood. But when I went back last week and it was still there, I knew this book was meant for me. And subsequently, I posted this in the Old Guys Who Like Old Comics group. I posted it in a few other groups, and people, well, they've been thrilled with it. What can I say? I'm gonna get a frame. We have Tomb of Terror number 5. I don't have a lot of pre-code horror, but this is a wonderful pre-code horror book, and we featured this on previous Comics for Breakfast. It's got the head of Medusa, it has the living slime, and it has my personal favorite Bob Powell artwork, the Rat Man. And we're going to wrap things up. The final comic that I am truly thankful for, well, it's The Unseen. Here we go. Look at that baby doll. This is a standard comic. Not that you would know it from the cover, but gosh knows. It's the unseen, but not the unsmelled. And, oh, it's falling apart. Oh, God! Oh, God, what did I do? Taking it out of the bag. That's what it's all about, folks. You know, when it comes right down to it, you want to enjoy your comic books, even if they disintegrate when you take them out of the bag. This is The Unseen, and this is from 1952. This is a Visual Editions comic, and I will take very good care of it in the near future. A book I'm truly thankful for to have in my Old Guys Who Like Old Comics archives. Well, that would appear to be it. And you're a sport for staying tuned for all of this madness. And so, for myself and my friend Pearl Dandy, I'd like to thank you, and I hope to see you next week at breakfast. That's what it's really all about, folks. The magic of comic books to transport you to another world. The idea of the Dell Spaceman book. What do we have here? Man has broken the tides of Earth and is about to conquer space. Well, until Joe floated away. What the hell, Joe? Didn't we give you training for all this?